Hi. So, do you ever wonder why you see the ads that you see on social media? This ad for Northwest Safe. Hmm. These ads for streaming services. Do you know why you see the ads that you see on your streaming services on on YouTube? Do you know why you see the ads that you see? So here's the trick. There we go. Get that pause because I want the ad to run it here in a second. You can actually influence the ads that you see on YouTube, on social media, uh, on your streaming. Here I have ads for streaming services on your stream, and then on your streaming services, you're going to see customized, unique ads for you. How do you influence that? So here we go. We have this ad. It's for Northwest Safe, and it's running in my normal stream. This is just the ad that came up. But why did this ad come up in my stream? Do How does the platform know that I'm interested in Northwest Safe? Well, so if I were to click on Northwest Safe page, I get here. And I jumped ahead of my demonstration. If I jump on Northwest Safe and I start scrolling down, there's no engagement here, right? No engagement here. Well, there's an engagement here because I've already I pre looked at this. If I were to scroll down about here, here's Northwest Safe's real billboard in the real world, and say we miss Viz's, and they've tagged Wally's Drive-In. So what's going on here? Here's Northwest Safe with their own billboard and Wally's Drive-In. What's Wally's Drive-In? So we click on Wally's Drive-In. And oh, by the way, I haven't clicked on this, but if you scroll down one more, we see that this pun joke between these two companies, I clicked Taha on sometime in the past. And that is why I'm seeing their ad now. So why that? Well, if we go over to Wally Drive-In ad or page, we see that actually I'm going to just go ahead and love on that. Okay. Oh, I didn't like that one. Let's go really quick. Let's do Buckley Bingo. Okay. Because here's a different Mount Rainier Creamery has their billboard, their reader board talking to Wally's Drive-In, and I clicked like on that. We scroll down here just a little bit farther, we see Northwest Safe being mentioned by Wally's Drive-In, and I clicked like on it. Northwest Safe, Wally's Drive-In mentioning Northwest Safe, and I laughed at it. I loved on it. Northwest Safe and Wally Drive-In. So who are these companies? Well, if I zoom into Google Map in Enumclaw, Washington, Northwest Safe is the company that it's highlighting for me. Now I scroll out just a little bit to see Buckley just across the county line. So this is Enumclaw is in King County, Washington. In Pierce County, Washington is Buckley, and Google is highlighting Wally's Drive-In. So here's the reality. Between Meta, which owns Facebook, and Google, which owns Google Maps, what I'm doing on this platform, the information is being shared. So here's the thing. You can fight it, or you can just embrace it. And if you choose to embrace it, you get to, instead of having random ads that you don't like, I can show you how to make sure that you are seeing ads that are relevant and interesting to you, even if they're not necessarily a company that you're likely to buy from anytime soon. So how do we do this? The first principle here is to understand what the algorithm is trying to do in the background. The algorithm's job is to keep you on your feed long enough that it will show you ads that Meta can then charge the companies for having shown you the ads. It doesn't achieve that effect if it shows you a couple of your family and friends activities and you say, I'm glad you had a great weekend, and you sign off and you're done. It needs to show you things that are not only relationally mildly interesting, but things that are emotionally engaging for you. And in an ideal world, it engages you with things that you love, with things that are highly valuable to you. However, your baser emotions are much more easy to manipulate. Anger, frustration, bitterness are easier to manipulate than love, compassion, and empathy. So what the algorithm is doing is showing you things that it sees you reacting to, and it's showing you more of the things you react more strongly to. And the purpose is to keep you on the platform for longer. So if it can get you on your feet and start scrolling and get you um, to scroll from one post to another, which are all on a similar kind of theme, it can keep you scrolling and engaging and making comments. And the more you comment, the more it knows that this is something that is significant to you. And the entire point of the algorithm is to keep you on the platform so that between the posts where you engage, it can show you ads and it can charge that company money for having shown their ad to you. So again, you can fight it or you can embrace it. The fact of the matter is, when it shows you things that you like, whether it's cute barnyard animals or it's flowers and for in my case the forest, if it's mountains, if it's deserts, if they're motorcycles or in my case airplanes, it's showing you things that you like and you keep scrolling to more things that you like and you keep liking or loving on more things that you like, it will show you more of those things and it will show you ads related to those things. If you engage with the anger or the sad emotion, it will gladly show you more things that you are angry about or sad about. Because again, it doesn't it so here's the point to remember. The algorithm cannot read your mind. It feels like it reads your mind because it is so good at understanding what your action, understanding what's happening behind your actions. So if you take the effort to respond to a post, it's taking that data point and connecting it to a bunch of other data points that it has, and it's saying, okay, this is significant to that person. Let me show them more things like that so that I can keep them on my platform. If you engage with a particular kind of YouTube video, YouTube's going to show you more and more different channels that have similar kinds of content. So in my case, there's a handful of people that are specific. I like the way they present the kind of information that they present, and my shirt reflects the kinds of things I'm interested in. But suddenly YouTube's showing me other channels that show the same kind of content. And it's like, I only have a limited amount of entertainment time in the course of a day. I can only watch a handful of videos on any particular topic that, especially that aren't work related. Um, and yet YouTube's trying to show me all these other channels that have content similar to the channels that I do follow. So I demonstrated with Wally's and with Northwest Safe and with the ad how this works in Facebook, how this works in a positive sense. Because I have absolutely nothing bad to say about either Wally's or Northwest Safe. Here was my experiment, my experience, which led me to realize how powerful this was. I was still in the Army in 2016 when that presidential election cycle came through. And the angry rhetoric on both sides of the aisle in that particular campaign was driving me nuts. And as a professional Army officer, I was supposed to be apolitical, but as I was approaching the end of my career anyway, um, and I was frustrated with my fellow citizens abusing the freedoms that I had spent a career, a lifetime defending. I started choosing to engage in the political discussion. But specifically, I feel like I'm sitting just a little bit off of center. I don't think I'm on the center, but I'm a little bit off of center. But I felt like the extremists on both ends of the spectrum were yelling so loud that no one in the center could be heard. And I heard some of my friends who are on extremes say some things that I didn't agree with the point they were making, but I agreed with the fact that they had a right to make the point. And so, as a courtesy, I clicked like on a couple of posts of my friends on a political extreme. And I actually commented, that's not a bad thought. I agree with I agree with the intention behind the thought. I disagree with the politics, but I agree with the intention behind the thought. Within hours, it was less than a calendar day. Within hours, my feed was full of the most vitriolic, divisive, angry, blatant echo chamber conversation from that end of the political spectrum. And suddenly I wasn't hearing anybody from the other end of this political spectrum. All the content that was on my social media feed, my Facebook feed, was related to that end of the political spectrum. And suddenly I was angry. I could feel my entire person angry, engaged. And I was seeing more of these posts and I was clicking angry and I was saying, you people don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand how the political process works. You're manipulating the political process. I was the one being manipulated. And for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, it was bleeding over into my real life off of social media. It was bleeding over into all of my everything. It was affecting my real life relationships because I was that angry all the time. And I recognized what was happening. And I said, I have to stop this. And I stopped engaging on the political extremists. And I wasn't seeing anything political extreme on the other end of the spectrum at the time. But I stopped engaging not only with the extremists, but even with the moderates. And it wasn't 24 hours. It was more like a week. I stopped engaging on anything political. I went and found my family and friends, my real life relationships, found non-political posts, and clicked like and clicked love and hey, I'm glad I'm glad you're sharing, glad you had a good day kind of comments. And I kept seeing feeds of the political extreme. So these posts kept coming into my feed because the algorithm's trying to get me to engage again. And I scrolled past. For about 3 or 4 or 5 days. I had to deliberately force myself to scroll past those political posts. Within about a week, they stopped. And what I see on my feed are Wally's Drive-In and Northwest Safe and um, uh, local businesses who are trying to make a difference in their local economy and serve their local neighbors. Um, I'm imagining 3 or 4 plumbing companies, and these are the two that I've used. So I'm going to just stick with representing these two, with using these two companies in my expression. Suddenly, what I see are happiness and joy, and people who are trying to improve who are not trying to use the political system to enforce change. They're just trying to be human beings doing human being things. Um, so how do you influence the algorithm? If something makes you angry and you like being angry, by all means, you do you. But if something makes you angry and you engage with it, and the algorithm shows you more of that and doesn't give you balance, saying, you know what, the world's not really all that bad, then maybe you should go find some things that are less controversial to engage with as well. I know, here's one. So, um, Jeeps for clean shores. So here's a local community of Jeepers who go out to Washington State beaches and clean up the beaches. This this is these are people who are making a positive change in the world. This is what I think of when I hear the word be the change. And you see, there's a like. I didn't like that one. I didn't. There's a like. There's a like. So I'm choosing to engage with people like this, people who are making this kind of change in the world, rather than people who are angrily trying to force some political opinion one way or the other. Because it's much healthier for me to be on social media trying to change the world this way than to be on social media angrily trying to push a political agenda. And what it means is the algorithm, which can't read my mind, but can read my activity and makes inferences about my priorities based off of my activity. I can influence which ads, in this case, because it's Facebook and Instagram means it's meta. I can influence the meta algorithm to show me more business ads that are trying to make a positive change in the world rather than the agenda driven political rhetoric. Um, Same with YouTube. I can influence the ads that I see on YouTube based on which company's content I engage with. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily buying from them, but at least I can influence what I'm seeing more of, so that I don't see things that I know are just going to make me angry. I hope my hope with this particular video is that if you are being if your emotions are being manipulated by social media, by the ads that you're seeing, by the way the algorithm acts, you will find that I have given you some suggestions for how to influence the algorithm in a way that allows you to reduce the anxiety that it produces and allow it to feed you things that bring you comfort, joy, and calm centeredness. I'm Keith Bashirs. I'm the bald guy. I help small businesses with marketing theory, tactics, techniques, training, and technology. Thank you.